Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. I'm coming to you on the road, so a little bit lower quality on the video. I also have a rather slow internet connection, so I'm going to make this very brief. Um, Before I do, I just need to remind you that the website and this video are not intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I'm not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. Well, we mentioned over the weekend video that it looked like the S&P was ready to come down just a bit and retest or test some support levels. And today we got a little bit of that. And this may be what we get. This may be, we may be starting our next little leg up here. And if you look real closely, you can see, and I promise you, I swear this is true, I did not move this line one bit. This is exactly as it has been on the chart since, well, whenever it was we last looked at it, and we put that line back on the chart a few days ago. The S&P came down today and tagged that line exactly, then started to come up a bit and actually closed essentially even, down 0.03%. So I'm thinking with what we saw today, we are likely now to come back and make a run for this top line, this resistance line right here. If that is the case, then the lowest we would expect would be 1889 at tomorrow's open, and that line runs up all the way to 1892 at the close. So it's moving up a little bit over time. If we zoom in just a little bit and we take a look at just what took place during on a 5-minute chart, we can draw a couple little trend lines here. This is interesting because we did have kind of horizontal resistance today, and you might look at that and say, well, what might that mean? Well, we could be seeing that a little inverted head and shoulders pattern again. We've seen a bunch of those. If we rally up over this line, then I think we can look at the depth of that pattern and say about 1887, 1888 is the minimum expected target. I personally think we would probably come on up and tag that line. That would be triggered by getting over this line, by the way. But the reason I say I think we are going to go up, even though we haven't broken this line, is because the trend lines that define the tops over the last 2 days right here has been broken. You know, it's not a huge break. By the way, we can go all the way to back here and pretty much get the last 4 bottoms to line up thusly. And interesting to note, if we look at these 2 lines, though they are not perfectly parallel, they are very close to it. And, you know, we could massage this if we wanted to and say, well, let's use this peak, because these 3 tops don't line up exactly. But basically what I'm saying is that the 6th, the 7th, and the 10th today, all of the trading took place in a descending parallel channel. And today, late in the day, we got over that. So I would be looking tomorrow, see if the S&P can follow through, get over this line right here that is at about 1870, let's call it 1878. And if we get over that 1878 level, then we would be looking at a minimum target likely to be the depth of this pattern, which if we add it on, if I can add it on, please, there we go. Whenever we might break out over that, you can see that takes us up to roughly 1888. That would be a new all-time high. and we could be in the climb now, though I don't think it's going to be really fast. I kind of suspect that there is so much on this chart in the way of resistance with these trend lines right here. I rather suspect that if we reach that 1958 target, we will be doing it. Watch this be famous last words. But I suspect if we reach that target, we might be doing it in a rather leisurely fashion. Now you say, well, what makes you say that? Well, I'm just looking at all these resistance lines, but all of them are moving up. Okay, we have support lines that are moving up here, 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 but we also have resistance lines that are moving up. Now, if we were to suddenly break out over all of these resistance lines and just see this massive move up to 1958, what do we know about long-term trend lines? And when you violate one to the upside, a rising resistance line, when it gets taken out to the upside, sometimes that's people chasing, and sometimes that's the beginning of irrational exuberance. Just like when you see people sell after a long-term downtrend, and yet they take it way below the descending support line, that's often a sign of irrational despair. So tomorrow, let's see if we get over that little tiny neckline, and if we do, let's see if we meet that target up at about roughly about 1888. Might not do it tomorrow, but I think that this looks pretty promising. That this low that we saw today at 1867 is looking pretty good right now. That could be the low that we see for the week, or even longer. So guys, look, I'm gonna call it quits right now. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your support, and take care.